So I came across this guy, JT The Bigga Figga, and it seems that he's been spending some time in Africa. I started watching this video and I thought there was some interesting insight that can be learnt from the interview, especially for those people that are interested in, improving their life, moving to Africa, reconnecting with the motherland. Let's have a look.
I need to know, what was it that made you go to Africa, man? And what was that like when you touched down in the motherland?
Okay, first of all, when I came last time and talked, they invited me to come visit the country because they said that 60% of their population of 19 million was under 21 years old.
Damn.
So if you got 19 million people,
Yeah.
60% is 21 and under, so they have a huge
baby boom,
a huge youth population, but jobs is not available.
Okay, so he's just brought up some demographics that I was also privy to, that I also understood, and that is that the population is so young in Africa, which means that there is opportunity there for the future. Young people are digital natives. The internet is coming online. And if most people are under the age of 21, then those people understand where technology is going. They're open-minded to new things, new businesses, and they're seeing what the rest of the world is doing. There are some type of economics that really take into account demographics and just how important it is to have a young generation. So that's something in the favor of Africa that people can utilize if they're interested in the continent.
For everyone. The vision of being independent is not really there, because how do you be independent? Like they didn't have the music scene for independency. They have music artists that all get robbed for their money. They get robbed for doing 360 deals with countries from France, or maybe somebody from America might come in. So they saw what I did in Atlanta. They was familiar with what I did in Cali.
Yeah.
So right here, I just wanted to quickly interject. He says they don't have an independence mindset. And I think people in Africa do have an independence mindset. I don't know if he's talking about just music, but everyone understands that the government isn't going to save you in Africa. So there is a lot of entrepreneurship. There's a lot of hardworking people. Now, they might not have the mindset to grow a massive business or to evaluate the best business that they can go into in terms of scaling and things like that. You find a lot of women, they open small boutique shops and they all sell the same products. Or you find young guys, they do, border driving or taxi driving, or, they're not thinking necessarily about huge scalable businesses. Some people are, but I think everyone does have a hustle mentality in Africa in general, because they know that they can't rely on jobs and they go out there and make it for themselves, which again is a good thing for anyone interested in going out there, because you can find partners, you can find hustlers that want to work with you and want to collaborate with you. If you've ever been curious as to what it might be like to pick up sticks, move to Africa and start a business, I've got a great proposition for you. All you have to do is subscribe. It's totally free and you can watch, see if I do it. Maybe you could do it too.
But they was like, can you come to our country and just share your words, share your vision about being independent, because we have so many young people that's turning toward terrorism. So you have terrorist groups that will finesse the young people to come be part of terrorism. And if it's nothing else to offer, then the terrorists have family structure, maybe food, maybe, whatever it is. So they like, JT, we want you to come. So that was in 2017 in February, Burkina Faso. So that's where
idle hands, if people aren't finding opportunities, things can go wrong, especially for a large male population. Fighting age males, they need constructive things to do. If you're going to Africa and you're making a business and you're able to provide jobs and create an opportunity for upward mobility, then you start to be a solution to the kind of problems that JT's discussing.
When they say they're gonna pay for first class tickets, round trip, my hotel, my food and everything. When I got there, I was like, whoa, this is something right here. You know? And then I started just having an idea, like, what if I really came over here? You know what I mean? So in 2017, when I came back, I got shot. When I got shot, I just still kept making my movies and continued, but they kept calling me like, when are you coming back? Like,
If you're not sure about Africa, at least go and visit, because it wasn't until he went to visit that he, first of all, he went just looking for an opportunity. And once he got there, he started to think, I could actually live here, because it's not all, terrible living circumstances. When your quality and standard of life is raised, when you're in a peaceful environment, he's just mentioned that he got shot, it might really be a really good option, especially if you're raising a family. A lot of kids, if they're not on the street and stuff like that, if they have a family structure, they get to live a really beautiful, innocent young childhood playing outside. It's not so much like on the iPad and trapped in concrete jungles. Kids are out there having fun. And, that's something I'm looking at in terms of when I have kids, where do I really want to raise them? So I'm sure these are the kinds of questions, the kind of situation that JT The Bigga Figga is thinking about when he's actually having contact with the continent.
Man, the people love when you came here, you built us a free water well. You know what I mean? Like, your name means something to us here.
Yeah.
So 2019, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna take a chance. I packed up everything and I said, I'm going to Africa. I got whole villages waiting on me. Like, I couldn't believe that a whole village of people, like, they hardly speak English, but when they elders start saying, nah, this is a good man. He came over here, did something for us and left.
Yeah.
Now he's back. And that's how I end up staying over there.
Okay.
He said there's whole villages waiting for him. And maybe, JT's a rapper, he's making movies, he's doing things. You might think that, that's something exclusive to him. Maybe it is to some degree. But if you're American, people idolize Americans, people idolize Europeans, especially Black Europeans, especially people doing business. And you'll find that you kind of rank higher in the social standings in life. And people start to want to be around you. It can attract business. And you can find yourself in a kind of elevated social place, which is great for your ego and also brings responsibility. People relying on him adds this responsibility and connection and bond with the continent that has been lost through, migration or the slave trade or whatever. And he's starting to have like these connections, thinking, rebuilding a severed bond that he had with the motherland, which is a beautiful thing.
Hey, culture-wise, though, man, was it a culture shock when you realized that you was going to be there for some years, though, Jay?
It was a culture shock, but this the thing I could say.
It's almost like the interviewer is like, yeah, come on, bro. This is Africa, though. Like, was it a culture shock? You're going to be here for some years. Like, he's already, you can kind of feel that this guy has this preconceived ideas on what Africa would be and how bad it might be. Kind of woven into that question.
Whatever problems happening over there, they don't have like, man, F them dudes over there, and we don't like that village over there. Like, whatever tension they got, they do it with respect.
Yeah.
So that was the real culture shock. Like, how am I in a poor neighborhood and y'all not shooting each other? Y'all don't beef with them down the street, and y'all don't. They're like, nah, man. We have problems, but we actually love each other out here. We all trying to make it. We had disputes.
Yeah.
So that's what made me stay longer, because I'm.
So if you're looking at Africa and you think about all the problems Africa has, a lot of the problems are at the elite political level. That's where the gang stuff happens. That's where the corruption and all of this kind of stuff happens. But if you're interacting with the local community, with a local group of people, you're not going to sort of encounter, it depends where you go, but you're not going to encounter the kind of Bloods and Crips gang life that JT's grown up in. And I always say that when you go to Africa, you're not getting rid of problems. You're just exchanging one set of problems for a new set of problems. There are benefits in Africa that, because there are things that don't exist in Africa that exist in the US. Now, if you go down to Cape Town and the Cape Town flats, you can find actual Bloods and Crips, the gang street level. And if you go to very deprived areas within Africa, you can find, you know, in Nigeria, area boys, or you can find, you know, neighborhoods where there's tension like that. But if you're in a community, and if you're not living in a squalid place, you know, you tend to find that there's a bit more of a bond, and people are maybe have gripes intertribally, but for the most part, you know, people have a greater level of respect for each other.
Like, this is not like America. In America, if you buy a Range Rover, you finna have some smoke. You finna have some jealousy. You finna have some. If you get a new house, somebody over here gonna want to shoot the house up, break in the house, steal the house. So when I saw that they had a certain,
The jealousy and the smoke is still there in Africa. You know, you can go to be in certain places and you just won't be wanting to stop at traffic lights. You know, if, like that happened in Cape Town, where they call traffic lights robots. And, you know, I was warned at certain times at certain places, you just don't stop at the lights because you will get carjacked. So it's not like it's just like a free, crime-free place. You can find all of that, and you wherever you go, you're going to find jealousy. But if you've come from an environment like a hood environment, a street environment, where there's real gang warfare going on, you know, south side of Chicago, you know, downtown LA, or south central LA, or wherever, you may find that, you know, everything, even though there's a bit of depravity and there will be some hate and some crime, that it's of a reduced level to what you're used to. You've seen him mention here that he was shot only a few years ago. God knows what circumstances that's under. But there is petty crime, for example, in Uganda, where I'm staying. There is petty crime. There is, you know, pickpockets and things like that. And you wouldn't want to walk down a road that is not well lit at night on your own, especially if you're a female. But for the most part, there's not like gang activity, and, you know, you're generally safe. And that's a really nice thing to especially if you come from that environment.
certain level of respect for each other. I think that's what kept me there for 3 years, because that's how long I was in Africa, for 3 years.
The food, the atmosphere, the living conditions, and the accommodations. Because, you know, it's a lot of folks that are debating whether they want to go and flat out move to Africa. I'm looking on Instagram, they're showing houses that are big as hell for cheap ass prices.
Cheap prices.
What's really going on?
Man, I'm gonna tell you like this. The American dollar, if you come with your money, you are rich even if you only have $5,000. If you land there and got $5,000 on your Cash App or your debit card, when you pull the money out the ATM, $100 is gonna expand for you, because $100 over there is humongous money. So you have the rich that live within what they call, I want to say, what's that called when you the American economy that's doing pretty much okay? What do you call that?
Middle class?
Okay, they have a middle class. That shit is like balling over there, right? You can rent a mansion. Like I rented a little small house for like $400 at first. Then when my wife and kids came, I rented a mansion.
Okay.
I rented the mansion for like $1,200.
So if you're in a situation where you've got US income or you're working remotely, this is where financial arbitrage comes in and plays a massive role, because your money does go further. But if you've only got $5,000 and you've got no plan, that $5,000 is going to get eaten up. Do not make the mistake of thinking, you know, like, I can just go and sit back because I've got a few $1,000s. You need revenue to come in. So you need to either have enough to sustain you in order to figure out a business and make it work, which is kind of the method that I did. I did a little bit of remote work also. Or you need to have an income, an online business, or a remote situation where income is coming in. So I have a little bit, for example, of rental money that comes from property I have, real estate that I have in the UK. That kind of feeds me, and the money that comes over, I can live off that money in Africa, but in the UK, it's not really enough to live off. I think when I first came to Uganda, if I was kind of savvy and had experience or know what I know now, I would have only spent 1/3 of what I did going through things, making mistakes, figuring things out. So you do need some money to carry you through.
For 15 months, and I loved it. I got a cook that come cooking.
1,200 a month or 1,200 for the whole 15?
No, $1,200 a month.
Okay.
For a mansion though.
Yeah, now I know what you're talking about.
I'm
just
talking
making
about,
sure.
Man, this like 15,000 square feet mansion. So I'm like, this too good to be true.
Yeah.
This too good to be true. I never had a break-in.
Yeah.
I never had nobody try to rob me, assault me,
Yeah.
shoot at me, stab me. I
Yeah.
never had none of those problems. So Burkina Faso is probably within the top 5 of the poorest countries. So $100 means a whole lot over there.
Yeah.
So
Burkina Faso right now, obviously, in the news, it's going through a power shift. You don't really want to be going to Burkina Faso right now. But if things improve, that's the kind of place where growth very well may be available. Burkina Faso is also not an English-speaking place. You know, there's other countries where it may be a little bit easier because English is spoken widespread. Having said that, your dollar will go further in Burkina Faso than it would do in, say, Kenya or Ghana or South Africa, just because of the developing countries, it's one of the poorest.
$100 converts to about 100,000 of their dollars.
Yeah.
So if you buy your food from the local people, man, $100 you could eat all week for $100.
Yeah.
You got chicken, you got
Yeah.
vegetables, rice, beans. You just have so much stuff off your 100. That's what make a lot of people who went there like, man, I might not go back. I'll go visit America, but I live in Africa. And that was my attitude. I'm like, man, I live in Africa.
Yeah.
See, he's converted. He's come there. He's tasted increased social standings. His money goes further. He's probably eating natural and organic food. He's having a great sense of community and belonging. And in the community he's living in America, he's there talking about haters and being shot.
You know, in 2000, I moved there 2019. 2021 January, I think I started to see that, yes, it's cheap here, but I'm not making the money that I want. So a friend of mine live in Kenya. He said, why don't you visit Kenya? It's more modern. It kind of looked like a little bit of America mixed with Africa. So you get the modern living mixed with the Africa living.
Yeah.
So I went there January, and I'm like, damn, everybody here speak English. This is new to me. They dress like us. They rapping like us.
Okay.
They club look like our club.
Yeah.
I promise you, when I was in Kenya, it looked like a little bit of Atlanta mixed with LA, mixed with a little bit of the Bay Area, because it's city. They have a city life.
Yeah.
And that's where I've been at for the last 2 years.
Yeah, okay.
Was in Kenya.
Okay.
And man, it was good for me, man. I bought more land, I built more water wells, I did the videos, I did content.
Yeah.
You know, but after 2 years, I started saying, but I'm still not getting the money that I want.
So just a quick little note there. He said, I bought more land. He's accumulating assets. All the financial systems in the West are printing money, but they're not printing any more land. So eventually over time, as long as they keep printing money, assets like land have to increase in value because there's more money in the system chasing the same amount of land. You'll find that even Africans that don't have much will own land, and they'll be able to pass that on to their family, build on it, and like live a life where they've got their own house paid for, their own land. They can pretty much control those expenditures that people in the West have for life, like mortgages and rent and things like that. A lot of Africans, you know, they own their stuff. So you can start joining an ownership group at a much lower rate. Just as an example, on the edge of Kampala, you can start buying land for $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, and that's land you can build on. So you can go there for 6 months, scope out some land, buy some land, set your foundations. That's $3, $4, $5, $6, $7,000 that you can spend. Then you can come back to the US or the UK, chill for a bit, then go back again. Then you build a little bit more and you build a little bit more. And if you've got that regular income in, you can just build things out straight. And I guarantee you, within 5 years, within 3 years, that land, that property will be worth more. And you can sell, you can flip, or you can buy more. You can have your main base be in the US or the UK, wherever it may be. You go out, you should start accumulating land.
Want from Africa. Because the biggest store or the biggest thing to make you some money right out the gate, an alcohol cigarette store, and now you popping with daily income.
Yeah.
And I was like, I didn't come to Africa to be no liquor store.
I feel that. I feel that.
To be, because that's a problem. Liquor is a problem. A lot of people is drunk on the corner. You know, cigarettes and alcohol is like a drug business.
Exactly.
So I just was like, nah. So I came back January this year, and I've been here the whole time. Like, I still got my land and still got my stuff out there, but I was like, if I come back and they finish Trapflix for me, no matter how much food I donated, water, and all the things I helped with, I came home with something that's worth millions.
Exactly.
I just want to, take my hat off, because he's gone out there with a consciousness mindset. He doesn't want to add to the problems of Africa. We don't want to import the pains of the West. There is alcoholism and there is drug abuse in Africa, and we don't want to be there perpetuating that situation on our own. We don't want to come and be the new fat cat in town. We want to come and do things that adds value, that increases the consciousness of the people, that makes us partner with them in positive ways. So hats off, and I hope that those interested will also think the same way.
In 2014, I did 10 movies, and I tried to do a deal with Netflix.
Yeah,
they offered me $15,000 per film, but I would have to give them the film exclusively for 5 years. So they offered me $150,000 for all 10 of my movies that I made here in Atlanta, Chicago, New Orleans, Alabama, California. But I was like, something telling me like, that's just, I mean, I wanted the money.
Yeah, but that wasn't enough for no 10 whole damn movies.
Yes.
Know your worth, people. Keep to your prices. Understand your worth.
So what I did was, in 2015, I said, I'm going to start my own Netflix and just call it Trapflix for all the hood movies. Tubi started in 2014. I started in 2015. They didn't have as many hood movies. They had movies that they licensed. And then Tubi saw Trapflix that I had the hood movies, so they started letting anybody with a hood movie go on Tubi. And then in 2016, I went to China, because I said, well, shit, I got software. I need to be like Steve Jobs. I want to be like Steve Jobs.
Exactly.
So I want to go make my own tablet and put my app on my tablet, because in China, they don't care. If you got the money, they will make your own phone, your own tablet, your own TV, whatever you want. So I came home with 3,000 tablets with the Trapflix on it. And then I said, well, I'm going to sell my tablets.
Yeah.
Somewhere around in the middle of 2016, some problems and lawsuits start coming for Trapflix.
So what I want to point out here is, you can't figure out your business necessarily until you start. You start something, you get an idea, you start moving in that direction, and then you discover there's reasons that block that path, or there's things that you got wrong about your analysis on that path. And the point of quitting usually happens when these friction points happen. But what you can see from JT The Bigga Figga is all he's doing is pivoting. And he's talking about these issues like they're nothing. But I guarantee you there'll be an emotional aspect and a difficult aspect to all of those problems. And he's able to just change his mindset, pivot, and move forward, which is the exact attitude you need for success in business.
agreement, different shit. So I had to shut it down, right? When I shut it down, I realized I messed up. I shouldn't have shut it down. I should have just kept
Fought
it
through
up.
that thing.
Because now software is a big thing now, and everybody's starting the same apps. Jay-Z started Tidal after Trapflix.
I was there.
So when I saw everybody, these powerful people making these apps, and now they selling the app a percentage of it for all these hundreds of millions, I'm like, I need to give me another app. But when I start pursuing trying to get it done in America, they was talking 150,000, 200,000 to make a streaming platform. So my people told me, hey, Fig, you know, in Africa, the software people was over there too.
Boom. In Africa, the software people is over there too. And that is very true. You can find incredible tech software people, professionals. They can't get a visa to come to the West because the West doesn't think they're valuable, but they are valuable. They're highly skilled, they're professional, they're ready to work with you and collaborate with you. You know, so you can go to Africa and find and partner with people, and you can bring visions together and start putting together awesome businesses.
They're in India, they're in China, they're in Dubai, and they're in Africa. If you find somebody in Africa, not if, you have to find somebody in Africa that do software, you could make Trapflix again for cheaper over there, then come back to America. And that's the plan that I did. I said, I ain't going back to America if I don't got no trophy. So coming home, I would say I've been in business now for probably 45 days. I'm still early.
Yeah.
But Trapflix is relaunched. I just shot a new movie, me and Barbara T, called Bullies Never Die.
Yeah.
So I don't know what Trapflix, I didn't know what Trapflix was until, you know, this conversation, these guys were having it. And for him to make his own Netflix and kind of niche it to the hood audience with the kind of content that they like is genius. That's what you have to do in business that's crowded. You can't go and be a new Amazon, but you might be able to be like Amazon in a very specific niche. And niches now are worldwide. If you're into a small little niche, there's 9 billion people on the planet, 8 billion people, whatever it is. You know, you can find a good few thousand people that are into that obscure niche. You can create you know, services and products for them. You can power it from Africa, leveraging your Western money, and let that money go further in your endeavors. And then you can sell to your niche. So this is what he's gone and done. This is what he's explaining the game plan was. Just seeing how he's navigated and been through this journey is very inspiring.
My first one that I just put on my own platform. So I'm starting again now. Everything starts again now.
Where's the game going now, though, JT? Because, see, I need some of this futuristic game so I can apply it now.
For anybody that's a rapper, they have to make an independent film. They could say, well, I don't want to do that. I just want to make videos and do shows. Okay, that's cool. A person that shot a movie on an iPhone can load it on Tubi and make more than one of the hottest rappers right here. Every 3 months, you making $100,000 because they pay every 3 months. But on Tubi, they have commercials coming on all through your movie. Unless you pay for the subscription, then the commercial's gone. So either you gonna pay to enjoy these films through subscription, or we hope you don't, because we want the commercials to come on, and now we make a portion of the ad and the person who owned the film. So the futuristic movement of what's happening is independent films. We don't want to just hear you, and we don't want to just see your music video. We want to see you act out some of that stuff you talking about, whether it's good or bad. We want to see you do it.
You know, the game plan evolves and changes with the time and with the technology. If you're just going to be a rapper doing what they did 5 years ago, how are you going to separate yourself from everyone? And, you know, that's true in every industry. So things are evolving. You've got AI now. You've got all sorts of digital situations where there's frontiers, untapped frontiers. And for example, what if you went to Africa and started a Netflix for African movies? There's probably already one there. But What if you started one? Could you do it better than the one that's there? Can you partner with people? You can incentivize everyone because you just have to create the platform and retrieve advertising revenue and become your own Netflix. That kind of business can apply for other things. You can pivot and move just like the bigger figure here figured out, his path to success. If he was stuck with the mindset and he'd stuck with his tablets, he wouldn't be doing anything now. No one cares about your tablet. But he found success after pivoting and going full digital.
What was it that made you not concede and go with Tubi and say, you know what, I need to relaunch Trapflix?
I have over 50 films that I know I'm going to possibly put on Tubi.
Okay.
But my ego as a man said, Fig, you was first. Just make another one and restart again.
Yeah.
Rebuild your shit again from scratch, my nigga. And you in Africa. So I lost money with maybe 4 companies, but the 5th company that I got with, they the ones who put it together. And now I'm like, boy, I'm finna start bringing software back to America because there's other people that want that same platform. And I'm gonna do like, instead of Steve Jobs, he said, I'm only gonna keep my platform, my software system on Apple. But Bill Gates said, I'm gonna buy this program called MD-DOS. He bought it for $50 to $75,000. He took the software, the Microsoft. Before it's called Microsoft, it was called MD-DOS. He tweaked it a little bit, called it Microsoft, trademarked it, did all his domain shit, and then brung it to IBM. IBM had a great computer, but they didn't have no operating system like Microsoft.
That's right.
So when he did the deal with them, within 4 months, he did a $20 million deal with IBM, but he didn't sell it to him, he licensed it. And then from there, when IBM started doing good, all the other computer companies started to call him for that same operating system.
Yeah.
So he licensed it around to all the computer companies, and that's how he was able to make billions of dollars like Steve Jobs and them made billions.
Yeah.
He made his billions by making his software available, and I thought I should do the same with Trapflix. Everybody want their own platform right now.
Know your worth, people. Know your worth,
And nobody's selling software, so I'm coming back as a software seller, not just a movie or artist or like, no. I got software, I got developers, I got engineers that can make any type of app.
Powered in Africa.
That's my personal vision. But I knew it don't start till I come home and be successful with what Trapflix supposed to be. So I'm finna load it up with a bunch of new movies and network with the people who can't get on Tubi, because everybody just can't get on Tubi.
That was a facts too. Get in here with, because I know you over here like you done learned so much.
So we're gonna leave it there with this video. The link is in the description. I just want to say that, how inspirational is this? A guy from the streets, he's hustled his way into the music industry. He's hustled his way into the movie industry. He's not getting picked up by blockbuster movies, but he's found his niche. He's moved it over to Africa. It's powered in Africa. He's settled his family in Africa. He's back and forth, and he's doing great things. Why not you? Why can't you do the same? Why not me? Why can't I do the same? So I love this story. I love what he's been through, and there's no reason why the rest of us can't follow suit. I hope you liked the video, and please check out the next video coming up right here.